Say that.
You're so
Okay.
I'm Startup Greg. We're,
Yeah, that's right. Your startup great.
we're both
Hey, we're
friends.
live here, man. So anyway, welcome to another Nerd Stalker interview. Good evening. This is Greg Gloria, aka Social Greg, on Twitter for the Nerd Stalker Media Network. Today we speak with Greg Gopman, the organizer for the San Francisco Homeless Town Hall. So a little bit about Greg. I met Greg about 3 to 4 years ago. And when he got to San Francisco via Florida, he was already an entrepreneur, and I watched him create this empire called Angel Hack, and he was just he was challenging the likes of Disrupt, Startup Weekend. I mean, all those guys. I mean, he was creating an event, and I think I got involved. He just told me offline the second Angel Hack event, and he had created 200 after that. So you could see how big this thing was. So, but then, as a TechCrunch article by Kim My Cutler mentioned, then one night after landing in San Francisco International Airport from Asia, he killed all of his momentum by posting a Facebook update in the middle of the night, and we'll let him talk a little bit more about that, what that was, because that really adds to the story about this homeless town hall he's putting together this Wednesday, March 11th. So, good evening, Greg. Thanks for joining us here live from San Francisco on Nurse Soccer Live.
Great to be here, Greg. It's we do these in-depth talks every once in a while. It's cool you got this Nerd Stalker thing now.
Yeah, well, we were trying to educate the world in the tech way. So, your path's interesting, my friend. I was there for your Facebook post, the thing that Kim My Cutler was mentioning, and I was amazed by it, dude. Totally amazed by it.
It blew up. It blew up.
I wasn't only amazed by what you had said, but by the power of social media. It summarized to me how powerful social media is.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Social media is a great corrective force in our modern day, right? So, for me, I learned it in some lessons you learn the hard way. But it's very easy to tell you're wrong when the world is like all like you're fucking wrong, and you're like, well, it's kind of hard to deny all these mad people. I must be missing something here, So that's interesting, but obviously I'm very much attached to this whole like social media storm thing now. I watch all these as they happen, and in a way I'm happy. It's helped me to self-correct, but you see it self-correct and call out a lot of people that are very rich and very powerful that normally would be able to hide behind like PR companies and kind of just like sway things with money, but you cannot stop social media. Like if they catch you and you fuck up and you're wrong, like they will let you know, and there's no way to get around it. Like you either, you take the time to figure out why you're wrong, or, there's, you live in denial your whole life.
Well, as I told you offline, we live in almost this kind of Hollywood-esque tech culture here in San Francisco, and that's the best way I could describe it. There's a party every night, which is called a tech party, or whatever you want to call it. There's always an event going on, whether it's like last week is Game Developers Conference, whatever's going to be coming up, Facebook, F8's coming up as well. So there's always something to do here, almost kind of like I call the Hollywood world, right?
Right.
But what I was amazed by this whole thing that you went through was that it was almost like a Hollywood story, right? It's kind of like this actor who's like really hella famous, does something, right? Whatever that is, right?
Yeah.
And his empire comes crashing down, right? Yeah. But what's interesting about what I've always noticed about you when I met you for the first time, and this is the first time I'm telling you this, is just that you had a strength of character that I would always call an entrepreneurial spirit, but you can't really measure that. So it's interesting what you've gone through. So let's get into this experience you went through and kind of tell the audience about it.
Well, when everything first happens and you're wrong and you're called out very much publicly, it's a shameful experience. You've let a lot of people down. You don't really know what to do or how long it's going to last for, but you go through a level of phases over a long period of time of understanding and trying to understand. You go through a complex personal development phase of emotions, positive, negative. Some people turn to drinking. I never went to drinking or drugs. But it took me a long time to kind of not only work through everything that was happening, but also to take the time to dive deep. You have to like fix parts of yourself. Like I was not that compassionate of a person before, and I never really understood homelessness before, and I had to do a lot of research and do a lot of volunteering to kind of, uh, you know, I've always tried to help people and help communities, but I've always tried to help people that I believed I wanted to help, like communities I wanted to help. I didn't try to help everybody. I wasn't thinking of the world in terms of helping everybody. Um, and I've read some quotes somewhere like that's the difference between a good man and a great man, and that always stuck with me. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe it's working in tech. You're just held to a very higher standard. Like I was always a good person to my friends and other people, but I did just not. There were certain groups of people that were not on my radar. Um, and it's a learning experience, but you come out from it from the other side, and it's like one of those like super cliche things where you say, it was like the worst experience of my life, but it was like the best experience because look at me now, But sometimes you hit a wall and you need that to grow from. That those are the things that they can either rise you up or they can tear you down, and maybe that is my resilience. I don't believe that the journey's ever over. It's just a continuation. And sometimes I'm going to fuck up along the way, and I just have to learn from those fuck ups and improve upon myself and continuously be improving upon myself. So that's kind of like where I ended up.
So kind of go through this metamorphosis. So you said that you got this backlash. You were basically shamed into a black hole corner of the tech earth, I call it. And then what did you decide to do after that? I mean, you decided to kind of embrace learning more about homelessness, right?
Well, I learned more about homelessness, but I did so many things. I mean, it was over the course of a year. I traveled. I went on like retreats. I went on a Vipassana. You're Buddhist, so like the whole like meditation thing. I did some spirit journeys. Did another Burning Man. I explored life coaching and executive coaches. Dealt with a lot of new friendship circles. I went on some like hippie commune retreats, I would call them. I just kind of explored and stayed open-minded and was open-minded to the things that there were a lot of things in life that I still needed to learn. And I think when you go into life with that mentality, you do open yourself up to learning a lot of new things. And I personally believe that I found some answers to life that are gonna transcend and carry me throughout most of my life. Like I feel very much happy and content with life. Even before this whole like reemergence into the media, like I've been a pretty happy person with everything going on in my world for like the last 9 months. Once I hit through like acceptance and taking responsibility for everything happening around me,
Right.
it's a journey. It's a journey, and even the stuff I'm dealing with now, and all like I do all these interviews, and there's always these reporters who are trying to go into an interview trying to like destroy me. You know what I mean? They're looking for one word, anything that's wrong, and it's and I'm dealing with politics, and I'm dealing with so many weird things that I've never had to like think through or talk to before. So it's really fun and it's really different, and I'm learning in it. Just like any new thing, as long as you're learning and growing, you're having a good time normally.
Well, I mean, this is going to be your next really test, probably of your character, is really to kind of go through this whole thing in a different way again, right? Because you approached it a different way. You went through that. You found some mistakes in your character. You're trying to correct that. You're trying to make yourself better. But then now you're reemerging, and so the question is how are you going to reemerge, and how are you going to deal with all that kind of again, attention, like you said, and stuff like that. But let's talk about this event coming up on Wednesday. Tell us the Nerd Soccer audience about this.
It's a really, really exciting event. So I have a background in events and innovation, right? I do innovation events. That's what I did for 4 years, and I just looked at I've been looking at civic engagement. Civic engagement's a dirty word. No one likes civic engagement. It's politics. It's boring. All these things. But I was like, how can I get people engaged in causes that aren't engaged now? And how do I, as I looked at the landscape in San Francisco, I said, how do I kind of like bring everyone together and start getting like more collaboration and just like inspire people to like believe again and to imagine new solutions. And I came up with this town hall event. I'm calling it a town hall because I didn't know what to call it. And I think town hall is actually an awful name between you and me, because as I see other town halls, they're like presidential debates, right? They don't look like this. But what I'm envisioning with this event, and what's really exciting, is we have a couple different innovation solutions. We have some stuff that's currently new and being done in San Francisco, and we are an innovative place. So these are innovative homeless services and solutions that are getting used around the country. Like we're starting them, and they're getting looked at around the country as like, we should do that in our community. And then I'm taking some things from other communities that I personally, along with a group of other executive directors from different homeless service nonprofits, have looked at and said, these are really, really great things that we should have in our community, or that like are good things as a baseline, but we can improve upon them even better and innovate upon them. And then we're showcasing these too. So we have all these like different services and housing innovations in this cause, in this field, and then we're going to showcase them, and we're flying in people to do this even too. It's a pretty high production event for for a little nonprofit event, and then we're opening it up to the audience to ask questions of these people through a new platform that we found that just started in like Southeast Asia called Pigeonhole, which allows the audience to ask questions and vote them up and down, like Google Moderator should do.
Yeah, nice.
For it. But this thing's perfect. I'm really excited about it. So everyone's going to get to engage in a new way. And then we're bringing over some policymakers from some supervisors who really run stuff in the city outside of the mayor, and some of the executive directors from some of these other nonprofits, and we're going to do a little panel with them to talk about what they saw, and then do a Q&A with them also with the crowd. And then what's going to happen, so we have all this like crowd interaction and like new solutions and inspiration and stuff going on, and then what we're going to do is we're going to say, here are these new solutions you just saw, or these new programs or initiatives, and we're going to open them up and say, these are things we're bringing to the community. There's no one backing these now, but you've heard like the political will to like back these things if you get behind them. You've heard some of the executive directors who will guide you and kind of like open up the industry for you and help you like network and navigate through it. And now we're looking for people to get into these initiatives and new programs, and like who from the crowd wants to volunteer or take leadership positions or help raise funding or like do all these things to really start them. Like, you're here because you care about homelessness, but like you probably never knew how you could help the homeless before. Like volunteering in a soup kitchen, if you're like, that might not be the best use of like your time, and like that one day isn't going to do that much. What if you really want to devote like 3 months of your year to like building something, and you didn't know what it is because you don't know homelessness, but here like we're showing it all to you, and we're saying we need people to do this now, and now is your opportunity. So if you are the one who wants to be that change, this is it for you.
Wow. So when is this event going on, and where, and tell the audience about that a little bit. I mean, it sounds hella good for a nonprofit event.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. It's Wednesday. It's at the Norse Theater. We rented out this majestic theater. It's lots of seating. When like Hillary Clinton comes here, she'll like speak there or something like that. Maybe not Hillary, I don't know, but like very famous people go and speak there. So we have this great setting. It's a free event. It's from 6 to 9 p.m. The seats are really, really comfortable. 6 to 7 or 6 to 6:40 is networking. So if you have to be there for some time, I would say 6:40 to 9. That's really juicy. All that time right there. Don't miss that part. From 6 to 6:40 to arrive. Good seats. Yeah.
This sounds like your Angel Hack event, man.
I know. It's hilarious. I've been having so much fun organizing this and gathering up like the community to come. It's really having fun. I feel like I'm back in my element organizing. I really love events.
Well, I think what I'm getting the vibe from you is that it could take anybody with a little bit of drive and creativity to put on anything, right?
Yep.
I mean, and it doesn't. And I think you're the proof that it doesn't have to be a tech subject, right?
That's true. That's true. I'd like to envision, if this works for homelessness, I'd like to envision we could do this for all different causes. I mean, like in my startup grandiose world, this is something that could be used across the board through all different, like education, environment, any kind of cause out there to bring people together in the city, like everyone in the city that wants to go over that, and then to drive those innovations forward and do them yearly in all the different causes, maybe like every month, like a different cause. Like I feel like that if I wanted to judge my life based on the impact I can make to help, I feel like that's a pretty good thing I can build. So I'm excited. I don't know how this stuff gets funded. We were really lucky at this event was going to put me way in the hole. These things aren't cheap to run and fly in people and big auditorium settings. But there's a really great organization my friend Matt Kimball runs called Reason to Party, where they normally throw these large philanthropy events for donors to come in and party and celebrate around a cause. and they made a really nice exception because we don't have a party. You know, it's just the auditorium setting, and it's a free event. But he's very passionate about trying to see this move in the right direction.
Oh, yeah.
Right, and some people are just, you know, some donors are very passionate. So we were lucky to get him behind. Otherwise, you know, I don't know how it was going to be sustainable, but he's given us a little bit of runway, and I'm hopeful if this event goes well, some other people will help sponsor the next event.
Well, you know, I got some ideas for you because I've interviewed.
Okay, cool, yeah. Sustainability is big on my radar right now. So,
dude, just a few months ago, I interviewed someone who did a crowdfunding festival. So the name that came up when you were talking to me, I'm thinking like cause funding or something like a cause funding festival or something like that, right? I mean, we could talk offline, but that's something that hit me when you were talking to me about that, because they turned this whole city called Jacksonville, Florida, which you know fairly well, into a crowdfunding festival site.
That's really weird for Jacksonville. But great for Jacksonville, not expected for Jacksonville.
No, not expected at all. I mean, that's why this was so unique. A lot of people in
Jacksonville would probably disagree with me, but, you know.
Well, you know Florida better than most people, so I totally understand. But hey, I know you have to get going. But anyway, how can people register for this event online?
Well, they can go to SF, like San Francisco, sftownhall.eventbrite.com.
Okay.
Which is one way. They can show up at the North Theater at 6 p.m. We're not checking tickets. It's like just a happy free event. So anytime between 6 and 6:40, just come over and jump in, you know.
Jump in.
1,700 seats. I think we're only going to fill up, 1,000, 1,200 of them. So lots of room for space and for enjoying yourself.
Where's this theater located exactly in San Francisco?
It's right next to the Bill Graham Center. It's like kind of like right next to City Hall.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
Super. It's like right where we want to be in the center. The only other better option we had was the Warfield, which we were really trying to get, which is on Fifth and Market.
Right in the middle of it, right in the middle of it.
So I felt like a rock star even doing an event in there.
Yeah.
And, it's just so much money, you know.
I know.
Way over budget.
Don't worry, we'll fix one thing at a time. Let's fix this homeless thing and get it off the ground, and then we'll talk about the other ones, right?
Now we're doing events at the Warfield, but something's going right.
Yeah, I know. Well, anyway, I'll let you get going, my friend, and I'll probably see you Wednesday night. We'll talk about that offline. But anyway, so basically, we go to the website, www.sfhomelesshelpers.com will get you actually to the place where you can register. No.
Go to sftownhall.
Oh, I'm sorry.
.com.
Yes.
And that will give you some information on the event. You want to be at the North Theater at like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, right around there between 6 and 7, and you'll learn about all these new innovations in homeless housing and homeless services that we're hoping to. Some of them are already in the community, and we're kind of showcasing some new ones too. And it's it's very much a first iteration of an event too. Like there might be things that are not perfect at this event. It's the first one.
What event is, right?
So. The second Angel Hack, things were not perfect.
No,
right?
No, hey, I was there. I contributed to that imperfectness, so I totally understand it. But anyway, I'll let you get going. So anyway, that was Greg Gopman, organizer of the Homeless Town Hall in San Francisco, March 11th, as he said, at 6 o'clock at North Theater, and can join by signing up at that website that you mentioned out there. So anyway, this is Greg Gloria, aka Social Greg on Twitter for the Nerd Stalker Media Network, where we believe in tech, startups, design, and you. Thanks for joining us, everyone, and be careful out there. Hey, thanks again, G-Man. Appreciate it, man.
Thanks, Greg. It's a lot of fun. See you next time.
All right, man. Yeah.